Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to raise an army. And you think about it, every major ground-swelling change in world history involves somebody raising an army. Arming themselves, pointing them in a direction, taking them into battle, and kicking butt. And that's what conservative activists need to do. Basically take the same lessons that apply to ancient Greece, put them in an American political context, and take them out into the neighborhoods. And it's not hard. It really isn't hard. Obviously, you have to have an issue that people are passionate about. And as conservatives, it's not really that terribly difficult to find those great issues. There's Second Amendments. There's civil rights. There's fiscal responsibility. There's fair treatment. There's just get rid of all the loony lefties. There's all sorts of great opportunities out there. So no matter what you're going to do, you're going to find probably a great issue. The next challenge is okay, let me do a little bit of operational planning here. This is something that, back up, with Help Save Manassas, which now has about 2,000 members in one county. We started out with a bunch of folks with some military experience, particularly in the operational planning, programming, and execution idea. And we took a whole bunch of ideas from some senior, big, deep thinkers in the military world, guys that designed the F-16 fighter, and folks that helped to plan great battle strategies throughout American history, and took a look at what it is that they do to figure out where they want to go, how they're going to get there, and how it's going to happen. And basically, you have to make some trade-offs. Because there's things like economy of force. You can't be strong everywhere, but you've got to be strong in the right spot. Now, for most grassroots activists, where you have to economize is everything other than membership. If you're going to raise an army, you have to have an army. So what are the things that help drive membership? And membership is what drives votes, and votes are what drives elected officials. So, the way to do that is to make sure that the barriers of entry are very low to membership. We charge no dues, we solicit contributions, and we do pretty well financially. Now, I'm still starving, but the organization's okay. But it allows you to grow rapidly. You make it as easy as possible. It's almost like signing a petition. Name, address, email address, and all that good stuff. And you get all these folks together into your army. Then you've got to point them in a direction. And technology is very useful for it. Gosh, I'm sure Caesar would have loved to have the internet, because it would have made it a heck of a lot easier to beat back the Huns. The way that we use the internet is we do the standard website. It's helpful. It's not really that big a deal. Most of the time, a website is the opposition research opportunity for your opponents to come in and figure out all the things they can scream at you about. But it's at least useful to put up your, where your email address is, how to send donations, what some issues are, and to go scream about a couple of things when you really need to. One of the great ideas I blatantly ripped off from VCDL was the VA alert system. We have HSM alert, almost the same thing. People sign up, we put them in the email, their email addresses into a listserv, and we'll send out email blasts when necessary to keep them apprised of what's going on and help them engaged in the battle. That's why Corey Stewart is getting emails every 15 seconds. We've got about 1,800 on HSM alert, and then Save the Old Dominion has about 350 folks who are not typically members of an organization because they don't have one locally, but they're just spread out all over the state. Let them know what's going on as well, and that starts bringing in the army. The other things that are important is regular meetings. Keep your lines of communication open with your members. The more involved you can get them, the more likely they are to step up into roles of like committees, like you just heard about. Having an army is great, but the army's got to get off its butt. Having them, low barriers of entry are an enemy towards having people actively engaged. So you do what you can to make it easy for them to engage. You have pre-written email systems where they click on that link and go, like Numbers USA, which has probably got one of the best of them. We have, they'll help us out when they can. But you look at it, you hit one button after you put in your information, and boom, off go the faxes. Instantly, 500 faxes show up on Frank Principe's desk going, oh my God, what have I done? The other issue is for conservatives is we don't typically like to go make a whole bunch of handmade signs, leave work for a day, and go stand out on a street corner going, si se puede, or whatever it's going to be the chant of the day. Conservatives don't leave work to go to rallies. And a lot of times they just don't like to go to rallies anyway. But they do like to talk to their elected officials. They do like to make a phone call, send an email, write a letter, send a fax, figure out what these folks are going to do that, you know, it's reasonable to ask them. Don't ask them to sign a petition and then get 1,000 signatures when you're going after a Virginia State, you know, issue. You can only show up there with 100,000 signatures. If you don't think you're going to get it, don't even waste your time trying. Get them to do what they will do, what's comfortable, what's consistent for their behavioral patterns. And go all back into that operational planning and execution, which we do bring down to the local levels that save the Old Dominion. The other thing that's key is the minute you start opening your mouth on a conservative issue, you're going to have the Washington Post calling up looking for opportunities to pick you apart. You do have to have a press strategy. You do probably need to get some advice from some folks that have done it before. In our case, we kind of, you know, learned it as we went, and, you know, there were a few bumps in the road, but we did pretty well. Make sure you stay on when you're planning your strategy for an initiative, you have to be very clear about what the issues are, what your talking points are, and don't let the press mess you up and get you off of what you really want to talk about. No matter what, stay on topic, get it out to your members, get them moving, and raise an army. It's really, you know, hey, that's how you conquer the world, right? Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. I'm just going to wrap.